Hello, good people, citizens, non-citizens who were forced to live amongst. We are here today to discuss the murder, yes, murder, of Austin Metcalf. In case you haven't been following the case, on April 2nd, 2025, Austin and his twin were attending a track meet where they were in their own private tent with their team. Someone who was not part of their group entered the tent and was refusing to leave. It was said by witnesses, including black witnesses, that he was asked at least 15 times to leave. This intruder particularly clashed with Austin Metcalf and started egging him on and saying, "Push me and see what happens." Because, nothing says I wasn't doing anything wrong like taunting someone and asking them to put their hands on you, while threatening repercussions if and when they do so. Ultimately, Austin shoved him, which in Karmelo's deluded mind justified then stabbing him directly in the heart, murdering him. He admitted to it immediately when police arrived, while claiming self-defense. To tell you why the self-defense claim is solid bullshit, here's our resident hag, Claudia Lynn. Claudia?
Yes. So, the reason it was clearly not self-defense, and the jury of the case agrees with me on this, he was not ganged up on or cornered. He had every opportunity to just leave and get away safely if he was quote-unquote feeling his life was threatened. In fact, the proof is in the pudding that he could just escape because they wanted him to leave. That was the whole point. He was in their space and they repeatedly, 15 times, asked him to leave. So how could he and his brain-dead followers suggest that they cornered him and ganged up on him? They wanted him to leave, and he should have. I've seen his ridiculous, yes, ridiculous supporters saying they had no right to ask him to leave. Yes, they did. It was their tent. There are no squatters' rights when it comes to tents. If it's not your tent, get the fuck out. Ugh, I need a drink, or maybe just another bong hit.
Thank you, Claudia Lynn. You're on point as always. Gonna lay it out here. His supporters are all black and they're just supporting him because he's black. That's all it is. They are biased and that's that. Which I cannot comprehend because I do not do that. I never blindly support someone the same race as me just because they're the same race as me. Because I know the difference between right and wrong. I can see past just what race someone is. For example, Kyle Rittenhouse. He's a white guy. I'm Italian, so these days I'm technically considered white, I suppose. A video on that another day. And I 100% think Kyle Rittenhouse should be sitting in a jail cell for the rest of his life because I'm personally not a fan of the defense. While I was waving my AR-15 in someone's face, they grabbed it to disarm me, so I shot them. It was self-defense. That's nonsense. You started it by waving your military-grade weapon, which you should not be legally allowed to own, in someone's face. But I digress. A perhaps more on-the-nose, if you would, comparison for me would be Luigi Mangione, as he's an Italian-American like me, and he was wrong for murdering that healthcare guy. I'm not going to side with him just because he's Italian-American like me, or even because he's super hot. I mean, seriously, super hot. He can get it, and he can get it anywhere. But he deserves to be punished for what he did. See how I can call someone out from my own community on being wrong? If I can do it, so can you. Karmelo's supporters are saying the most ridiculous things.
I know what to do. I got 5 boys. I don't know what. I ain't got nothing to tell them no more.
Well, don't stab anyone is a good place to start. Or hell, just go wild and say, don't murder anyone. That's another good place to start. Some of them are even saying Austin was a bully. He wasn't. But even if he was, it still wouldn't justify killing him. I say that as someone who was bullied their entire life. I would not have been justified in killing anyone who was bullying me. Look at the Columbine boys. They wanted revenge on their bullies, and they went ahead and did a school shooting. They were wrong to do that. People just don't seem to understand the difference between right and wrong anymore. Now they're all trying to say he didn't get a fair trial and that it was racist. No,
No to all of that. This was a case of what's right and what's wrong. For you to claim self-defense, you need to prove that you felt your life was in danger, and his defense could not prove that because he was not in danger. You can whine in the comment sections all you want that Austin shoved him, he put his hands on him first. A shove does not justify a stabbing murder, no matter how many times you say it. If he felt threatened, he had every opportunity to just leave. No one would have stopped him. That was the whole thing they wanted. They wanted him to leave. So much so that they said it 15 times. The people, well, not people, the lunatics supporting Karmelo just seem to lack critical thinking skills or hate white people so much that they're just blinded by it. And they'll side with a black person even when he is clear as day guilty of murder. I even saw people comparing this to Jim Crow days and the Emmett Till murder. Again, I say no. No to all of that. In fact, how dare you? There's also a false narrative going around that he was convicted by an all-white jury. Wrong. While it's true that there were no black people on the jury, they were all eliminated during jury selection, by both the prosecution and Karmelo's own defense team, the jury was not all white. It was composed of, let's go to the list, whites, Asians, Hispanics, and Middle Eastern people. I'm willing to bet every potential black juror made it about race and said things like, I'm not putting another innocent black man in jail, or other clearly biased opinions. Karmelo's dad is now saying he didn't get a fair trial, the trial went too fast, it was rigged by white people. You know what? Sometimes it's literally just an open and shut case. This person admittedly stabbed an unarmed kid directly in the heart, and he was guilty. I'm willing to say it was premeditated even. I believe he went in there looking to pick a fight and act like a tough guy, antagonize someone into shoving him so he could feel justified into using the knife he brought. That's the way it went down. Also, it is worth noting that multiple of the witnesses who testified against him were black. So this was not a case of white versus black, no matter how they try to spin it that way. Members of the black community who were there and saw what happened specifically said that Karmelo was the instigator and the aggressor the whole time. Austin was even quoted as saying, "I'm not going to fight you." All the witnesses agreed this was on Karmelo. I was shocked to see people in the comments saying this should have been a manslaughter case instead. It wasn't a murder, he should have gotten 5 to 10. What world do you live in where stabbing someone in the heart is not murder? We should probably investigate anyone saying that, because who knows what kind of skeletons are in their closet. Possibly literally. Anyway, gentle viewers, the jury got it right, thank goodness. The only thing they could have done better is the sentencing. He should have gotten life in prison or the death penalty. 35 years with the possibility of being eligible for parole in like 17 years is not justice in this case. That means he could be out in his 30s, while Austin is still in the ground and his twin is still without his other half. That isn't right. Yes, I concur. That was the only part of the outcome I wasn't happy with. If you murder someone, it should be the death penalty or life without parole, hands down. Getting any kind of release in the future is like they're getting a second chance, and it's not like they gave their victim a second chance. Amen to that. It's also worth noting that Karmelo has shown no remorse for the crime and paints himself only as the victim. He sat there emotionless as the victim statements were read, the 911 call featuring the hysterical twin was played, and photos of the actual stabbed heart were shown in court. He only cried tears for himself when he was found guilty and sentenced. He's a heartless criminal and deserves the worst. With any luck, his baby face that the loser followers keep talking about will be doing nothing but sucking AIDS dicks in prison for the next 17 to 35 years. Word. Until next time, folks, TTFN. So much love, guys.
please click the subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified when I post more videos. I've got many more to come. Also, please find me on social media at Gay Moderate on TikTok, Insta, X, and Facebook. I post on there a whole lot more than I post on here, so check it out.